What's going on, people? My name is Conrad Rathod. I'm a writer, director, and editor, and today I am doing my very first storyboards for a horror film called The Three Sisters of Abraxas. I have already shot the short proof of concept film, which we're waiting to hear back from festivals right now. We've actually already gotten into one, but we're hoping for a bigger premiere at this point. Um, and I am developing the film right now on my own. Well, I'm getting some advice and auxiliary help from a line producer who's been great. Um, but right now I'm getting the top sheet together, which is the general budget. I am doing these storyboards um, in order to know my shot list, in order to have an accurate shooting schedule. Um, and yeah, that's where things are at. So that's what we're doing at this point in time. It's a very interesting thing to be putting all this effort into a film that has no guarantees at this point in time because, I could shoot the short with my own money, and even that was extremely expensive. Um, but yeah, you have to build it in order for the people to come. So I'm doing these rough ones, which will just be essentially like the biggest shots of the film, the most important ones, the things that are really sticking out in my head um, with what's in the script, set pieces, and so on. The opening shot of the film. I'm not going to bother drawing everything by hand because I'm also going to be taking this into Adobe Animate and redrawing things digitally in order to have certain scenes where you need the same background and you don't need to redraw it and all that kind of stuff. It'll just streamline things and make things also come across as more professional because the inconsistency, for example, just hand drawing every single frame here, I've used a ruler in the past if I'm going to do it all by hand, but um, I think this is the way to go forward for a whole feature. This is a new workflow for me. In the past, I've done it all by hand for all my short films, but this isn't a short. There's a lot more to draw. I need to be able to go back and make some adjustments easily and cleanly if I need to. So that's where we're at. We're not going to be naming these shots quite yet. I'm in the midst of doing the very final pass of the script. So scene numbers and things like that are still a little bit up in the air. I'm not going to say this is shot 1A when I might have a different opening scene. Um, that's probably a bad example, actually. I think I know what the opening scene is. It's going to be this sort of cult altar in which there is a body part that turns into a creature. I'm going to keep it a little vague because I don't want to give things away. You're going to have to watch the final film, but it's going to be creepy, I think. But yeah, right now this is an interesting time because I really don't storyboard unless I'm going to do something. And again, like I said, there's no guarantee that I'm going to be able to do this, but I've got faith and I'm betting on myself with this, and we'll see how it all plays out. Hopefully, in my favor, we'll see. That's what it takes, I think, is being able to have the courage to say, you know what, this effort is going to be worth it. And that's the strange thing about filmmaking is a lot of it is an art form that requires attention. All art does, but there's plenty of art forms where you can just make it on your own completely. This one, you need people to do it. but I'm in that phase where I can make this on my own. This art, the storyboard, I can do that on my own. And I have to be okay with just having the faith that this time is going to be worth it. I mean, I'm also going to take it as like an opportunity to get better as an artist. I love Miyazaki and watching his documentaries and seeing his process where he'll storyboard for like a year or two. And obviously he has a huge team, but the commitment to knowing where each shot is going to go before you go into production. And again, animated is different than live action, which this will be live action, but it's entertaining to you, the person making it in the moment, and that's what really matters. So I'm really going to keep these very simple and not worry about like right now. I don't know if you could see, but there's this severed hand here. I know that I wouldn't tell you, but I'm going to tell you. There's a severed hand. That's their opening shot, and I drew this little background line when actually there's supposed to be a sort of a melted candle there. And even just now, I'm already realizing I'm putting a little bit too much thought into this because these are supposed to be really rough. I'm going to take the photos of them and use them just as references for when I digitize things, and that's when I'll put in a little bit more effort to make things look a little bit more clean. And yeah, it's about getting the ideas out there and working out the kinks of what you do and don't want in this phase. And we'll see if this is the way to continue forward. There's definitely a world where I don't think that this is worth it. This hand drawing everything, if I'm going to digitize it. But I feel because I've done it this way in the past, hand drawing everything, it's a good place to start. And we'll just see if it's the way to go forward. But even just now, as I've been drawing this, I realized I've already drawn this image for the short film. This one of the altar. So I'm just going to leave it as is. I already have a better drawn version of it for another. But there is another scene, the one immediately afterwards, which follows the altar scene, which I have not drawn. And that is one that I'm going to draw right now. And it's going to, again, I can already feel this resistance to doing it in a sketch kind of way, like just sketching it out and not worrying about the details, because I like things to be as finished as they can be. But having gotten older and spent a lot of time on certain ideas that never came to fruition, like for example, I have one short film that's 20-ish pages long, around 80 or 90 shots, and I storyboarded the whole thing, and then afterwards got real about the budget and realized no way I have the money to shoot this, nor is it the project that makes sense for me at this moment, because it's a dark comedy thriller, similar to Fargo or In Bruges, where I love that genre so much, but you need A-list actors. You need them. So if you're a first-time filmer like I am, or first-time filmmaker like I am right now, the reality is you're probably not going to get those actors for your first film. And if you don't have those actors, no one's going to show up to see a dark comedy about who the hell knows who these people are. Even if it's just B-list people, that guy from that thing, you need to start with something where your film can be successful. And I luckily have a tendency for the creepy stuff, for horror. And so I've gone that direction instead. And that's where I'm at right now. So the next shot is like this shot of these snakes wrapping themselves around our lead character's legs in this sort of dream space. So the whole thing starts with a very bizarre, unsettling tone where this guy just has his feet planted amongst this sea of slithering serpents. We don't know where we are. We don't know what's happening. But we know something's got a hold of this guy. Something maybe a little bit nasty. And it's going to be his point of view looking down. And it's supposed to be a shot that makes you feel unbalanced, makes you feel like we don't know where you are in the world, because that's what this character is feeling. And we really need to make sure that this sort of lost feeling is imparted on the audience really quickly. Because if it's not, then we're going to have some trouble. We're going to have some trouble for sure. Snakes are also hard to draw because they have a lot of, well, they're not hard to draw, but if you want to draw them detailed, it's a challenge. And so I'm going to right now just get a little bit loosey-goosey here. I'll show you again what I've got going on down here. So there's the legs, snake wrapped around. And it is not good. I'm fully aware of that. But now it's all about getting these lines, all sorts of lines, where we're going to have this writhing sort of intestinal feeling to the whole shot, where there's overlap and crossing over, and this sort of like quicksand feeling where the guy might even be sinking into the snakes. And yeah, there has to be a lot of overlap. It's almost like drawing a knot with snakes. There we go. That's a good way to describe what this shot is. Knot of snakes just everywhere. And again, I'm having a little bit of trouble right now, just letting go of like the detail and like not worrying too much about what it's all going to come across as in this phase, because this phase is supposed to be imperfect. It's supposed to be a little bit quick, rough. There goes a helicopter. And just getting the basics across for me. So right now, just people way up and get this thing done. Also, I'm not used to talking while drawing. I'm used to being very locked in. And yeah. Let's see if we can just get this thing over with, so that we just get to the end and are able to move on. Because again, I don't think this is the best use of my time in the long run. It's a great starting point. Storyboarding is a process that for me has always, I felt some resistance to start at times. Because once I do start, I don't ever want to like lose momentum. So I'm trying to be honest with myself if this is the best use of my time. Again, I've noticed in the past and like spending time storyboarding and then realizing it was not the best use of my time. So that's where my head is at, is like, okay, let's make sure this is not a waste. But here we go. We're getting there. Now we're just getting the overlapping feeling is really important, I think, with this general, very basic sketch. Getting that intertwining feeling. And that's just going to have to be good enough right here. So there we go. A little bit of the sea of snakes. And that's what I'm going to be doing for the next week or so, is just getting these general shots down where the dreaming phase, visual dreaming of this thing really starts to get going. Again, I have plenty of options of shots that I already know I want, and that's where I start, right? Start with what you know. And by doing that, more ideas will come. If you try and start with the hard stuff, I think you're asking for not writer's block, but maybe like storyboarder's block, if that's a thing. So, got that shot down. Maybe you know what, the better way of putting it, of like what my strategy is like one shot per scene for rough stuff. Just almost like having a title for a scene, but a visual one where you're like, oh, there's that scene, that scene, that scene. And then I'll be able to take these and use them as almost like covers for each scene, where if I put them up on a wall somewhere, I'll be able to say, oh, that's that, that's that, that's that, that's that, got it. And it's a shorthand of seeing the flow of the imagery throughout the whole film. But again, there's part of me that just feels this is a good place to start, but maybe I won't hand draw every single one of those things. Maybe I'll just move to the digital faster because it's going to expedite the workflow. So let's see how it all goes. I'll keep you updated. But there you go. There's a little glance at the storyboarding process from me at this moment. It's slow going, but being able to get what's in your mind onto the page or onto the computer is extremely valuable. So I'll keep you guys updated. Thanks for watching. I'll come around Rafu. Keep on tuning in, and you'll be able to see the process. All right, guys. Peace.